With the crime rate on a steady decline, Canada could be seen as a very safe place.
Stories in standard depth.
Climate change, the water's heating up. There's a lot of things happening in the atmosphere that are affecting the water.
Check.
I'm really suspect about humans. And I get a lot of complaints from my cousins. I really just have conflict in my really small mind about really what humans do in the watershed.
And then we're off the hook. It's as easy as that.
Very warm, it doesn't know what's going to happen, and boom, there. You have to be very quick, eh?
I'm a campaigner, campaign director at Forest Ethics Advocacy.
We really like to eat things out of the watershed, and it's unfortunate for you that wild salmon are part of that.
Love salmon. Love eating. I love salmon.
Well, how's it like swimming upstream? Is it hard, or do you just have like the muscles for it?
If you could choose one stage of the salmon's life cycle, which one would you choose?
I had one on the top of my lip, and when at school, the kid thought it was a piercing.
We agreed for only one take, because we're hungry hiders.
Up your watershed. Come on, Will. Up your watershed. Woo! Up your watershed.
Will Salmon here with Ramona, special interviewer, and we have some guests on the program, Hammy and Sammy. Welcome. And Hammy is an Ailevan, which means she has a backpack of food for her as she makes her aquatic journey. And then Sammy is, looks like she's been able to eat all her food and survive on her own as a silver sockeye. Ramona, you have some questions for them?
Yes, I do. So, is the water cold out there?
Well,
yeah.
Duh,
Yeah.
it's freezing.
Yeah, I guess I
At this
should
time
know
of
that.
year.
Have you ever seen a fish hook, like, just out in the water?
Yeah, well, once I had a hook on the top of my lip, and others thought I had a piercing, but it wasn't a piercing.
Is that bad? Is that bad or good?
Well, it's not bad. It's okay, I guess.
Yeah, in my school, everybody has tons of piercings, so they would think that was pretty cool. So, do you have any siblings?
Probably, yeah, we have a lot. Yeah.
Do you know approximately how many?
No.
No?
I
That's
can't
okay.
keep track.
So, in fish school, what kind of things do they teach you to stay away from?
Seals, killer whales, nets, humans, and fish farms.
Will
Hey,
Will
Will
D,
D,
where are you,
come
man?
on, man. This way.
Get in here.
This
We
way.
need our dancer.
Yeah.
This way.
This is your song. If ever there was a song for you, Will D, it's
Honor
this
you.
one. You got to show people what they got to do when they're going to travel up your watershed.
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Redbacks cruising up the Fraser River, and the pinks are doing it too.
Fighting their way up river valleys, shooting through those grizzly alleys. Salmon running, I hope they're coming soon. Up your watershed.
Woo! Go Will!
Yeah.
People wondering, where are the sockeye? Did they get lost or hit the wall?
What's been happening in the ocean? There must have been some big commotion. Are they fashionably late or coming at all? Up your watershed. Up your watershed. All right. Up your watershed. Up your watershed.
Make your move, Will!
All right, Will. Show 'em how it's done. Real smooth. Understanding this ain't rocket science. We know what we're doing wrong.
Yeah, yeah!
We're calling all people with a heart. This is a good place to start. Well, there's a party with a purpose going on. Up your watershed. Up your watershed. All right. Up your watershed. Up your watershed. Come on. Up your watershed. Woo. Up your watershed. Up your watershed. Woo!
All right! Huh!
Woo, woo, woo!
Yeah!
Check, 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 check.
So, what is that thing for again?
Oh, this orange thing. It's where I carry my food. For it's like a backpack to carry food in.
Oh, that's cool. So, do you guys have a best friend?
Well, mine is Hammy. Sammy.
That's cool. So, what do you guys do to pass the time?
Swim. Play. avoid hooks.
Is swimming upstream really hard, or are you just born with the muscles to do that?
Kind of just born with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's Hammy and Sammy and Ramona with a special report here on the Whale Salmon Show. Now back to the studio. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, my name is Sarah and this is my friend Will. And we are going to ask you a few questions.
Great.
The first question is, what is your name?
My name is Karina.
Hello, Karina.
Hello.
The second question is, what do you feel about nature?
I feel full about nature. I feel connected to nature. I feel a lot of things about nature. It changes all the time. My relationship with nature changes all the time. But I feel really blessed, and I feel really privileged, and I feel really, I feel really honored to have a relationship with nature that is constantly growing and constantly evolving.
If you were a salmon, what kind of salmon would you be?
That's a tough question. I think, Will, here, you're a chum, am I right? You're a chum salmon? This is what I've heard. The rumors say, I think I would be a chum salmon, and then you'd be chums. Oh, thanks, Will.
The fifth question is, what kind of stage would you choose if you could choose one to be?
Like in the life cycle of a salmon?
Yeah.
I think I would choose to be an egg. I think I would choose to be a tiny little salmon egg. Because it feels really good to be nurtured, and it feels really good to be all squished up with your brothers and sisters in a big pile. And I feel really new. I feel really new in this world, and I feel really, I feel like a baby. I feel like I'm brand new, and I'm learning so much, and so I think I would choose to be a brand new salmon egg.
And the last question is, do you know the salmon bump?
Do I know the salmon bump? No. Will you teach me the salmon bump? Oh, cool. Let's do it again. Cool. Can we do it? Nice.
Seems so easy in the here and now. Ring your bell and I'll ring mine. While we're talking, we will try to save the world. When we're restless, we will rise. Even though it's long out of our way, I think we'll go 10th Avenue. Doesn't look like it'll rain today, and it's worth it for the view. I could live forever here in this old bike. I could live forever here on these old wheels. I could stay forever here if this whole world stayed the same. But you know what they say, this too shall change. It's keeping me awake. If the leaving feels like I've been blown apart, it's like a haunting if you stay. Because with everything your fear has said, you're like a ghost of who I knew. Even though I thought I hadn't let you in, without knowing,
stay forever here if this whole heart stayed the same. But you know what they say, this too shall change. Quiet humming of my bicycle, the way my legs go round and round, how the center of my gravity is this momentum that I found. The only way to keep my balance now, I need to learn to let this go. The only way to keep from falling down, just keep moving down the road. I could live forever here in this bold love. I could live forever here with these wild ideas. I could stay forever here if we just hadn't been afraid. But you know what they say, that maybe it's better, 'cause I could live forever here in this little life. I could be forever here with these simple dreams. I could stay forever here if this whole world stayed the same. You know what they say.
Louise and Brian.
Actually, that's Louise. I'm Brian.
Okay, as a fish, I don't really know my gender, so thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, nice.
We got one for the blooper reel. You got the first one. All right, good job, buddy. Way to go, Louise.
Brian, do you mind checking for a sec?
Check, check. Check.
How does that sound?
Check.
Good.
You got a check for me?
It's in the mail.
Damn, I'm a female. Why you fish?
I fish because it is it's fun. Like
for you.
Yeah, well, you know, like ever since I was a little boy, Dad took me fishing, and
who is this guy?
I was hooked right away. Except he was afraid of worms, so I had to put the worms on the hook myself. And then so I discovered that feeding the fish with worms with a hook snuck in there was a lot of fun as a kid.
Yeah, we don't eat worms no more, just so you're saying that's why you never... So, all right. Now, what do you do with these fish after you catch them?
Well, I'm sorry to say this, but they're really tasty. And
all right, let's talk to Louise. So, Louise, what do you do?
Well, for pink salmon, I can them. I cut them up, I squish them into a jar, and I put them in a pressure cooker and cook them for 100 minutes. Then I take them out, and then we get to enjoy them.
Do you guys like basketball? Or like, you know, how about, do you eat other things?
Check, 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 check. Check the river. Check if it's clean. Check if there's a pipeline. Check.
We eat vegetables, you eat other fish. It's life. And you probably don't do it very nicely either. You probably just eat them live.
Very much.
Ah, salmon, I tell you. Hello, and you are?
Saren.
Hello, Saren, and? You don't speak much, huh? Okay, but I am Dr. Legume. I am a plastic surgeon for vegetables. And I'm very, very happy to be here today because we both share a lot of concerns. I share concerns about legumes or vegetables. Yes, many years ago, I became aware of le problème de la pollution des plastiques. Plastic everywhere. So my clients, legumes, came to me, and I had to free them from all the plastic they were growing in. Same thing with the salmon or the fish. Lots of problems with plastic, non? Ben oui, bien sûr. Beaucoup de plastique partout. So for you, so they have the same problem. So I started to operate on plastic or vegetables that are caught in plastic. But, you know, I also became aware that people don't think that vegetables have feelings too. Did you know that, Sarah?
No, I did not.
Well, they do. They do. And so, like animals, and I'm glad we're starting to think about animals, would you like to be dropped in boiling water? Would you?
No.
Would you? No. So, but we do have to eat them. So today, I am going to show you something very important, okay? But before, I must say, if you are at all squeamish, don't watch, okay? Because I am in front of you going to take care of, well, I'm going to, you know, the vegetables, okay? All right, so you have to be okay with that. But I'll do it as humanely as possible. D'accord? On est tous d'accord? No, if you have peur or anything, don't watch. So very quickly, we'll show you. I have developed these techniques over at least 10 years of practice. So, and now you too can do it. From now on in your kitchen, it's very simple. You don't need very much. But first, you have to have a nice atmosphere because the vegetables, they want to be relaxed. So, always a nice atmosphere, a little music. We don't have music, okay? So you need also a very sharp knife. It's very important because, you know, like if you're going to do something, you don't want a dull knife. D'accord? D'accord. Okay. So, very simple. You have just to figure out first where the vegetable has its heart or its head. And I'll tell you about it very shortly. Okay. You also need an old sock, a nice warm sock. All right? You definitely have some old socks around the house. That's also very important. Okay. So, Sharon, could you give me, let's start with the longer vegetables. Can you give me an aubergine, a yellow aubergine? Thank you. So again, they are there so they don't see what happens here, okay? Because once you don't want to get them too worried. So right now, you just bring them a nice aubergine, and you put it very gently in the sock. You figure out where the head is always where the little thing is at the top. You put that into the, so it is very nice and very comfortable, and it does not know what's going to happen. So very carefully, while it doesn't know what is happening, you just go like that. That's it. It's that simple. And it never knew it was going to happen, okay? So this is it, and this one is gone. Now you can cut it. You can do whatever for your ratatouille or je sais pas quoi. You can do it. But I'll do it again. Can I have another one, please? So you see. Also, I'll try to hide the knife so it doesn't see it the last moment. Very nice, very comfortable, very warm. It doesn't know what's going to happen. And boom, there. You have to be very quick, eh? So it doesn't know. So that's for the zucchini. You got that? You got that? OK. Now, let's do a carrot, for example. Thank you very much. A carrot. OK, we say the same kind of principle. At the top is the head. You put the head in. You're very gentle. Oh, you see, this is not good because now he's getting anxious. OK, there. That's done. All right. And we'll do another vegetable to maybe a purple zucchini, or purple eggplant, aubergine. So again, same thing. And you try it, you soothe it to make sure. And very casually, you may relax the atmosphere a little so it doesn't know what's happening. OK. And here we go. It doesn't know. You see? Bang. That's it. All right. So that's for the longer type of vegetable. But sometimes you can't tell that, OK? Is it upsetting you, Tom? Oh, I'm sorry if it is. But you know, they are much happier. Maybe you give me the tomato, for example. You see, the tomato is different because it is hard to know, well, if it is the head, it's going to be hard to do that. So with the tomato, you have to go for the heart. So again, you want to be very casual. There you go. And it's done. It's no problem. It didn't even know what was going to happen, OK? So there you go. So that is the tomato. Then after this, you can cut it in other ways. I'll do another tomato, if I may. Or thank you. Again, so they don't see the knife. Very nice, very quiet. You don't look away. You look maybe a little casual. Hein? No problem. On y va, j'arrive. And there we go. Bang. Right through the heart. One sweet cut. And they don't know what's happening. Maybe let's try something else. Just, I don't know, maybe a pepper. Thank you. So this pepper is a bit longer, so it goes for the the sock. And again, very carefully, there you go. No problem. So let's finish maybe what might be interesting for you to know. I'm a bit more different is the garlic. Garlic is a little more difficult because it is smaller. So when it comes to garlic, I developed this technique just not that long ago. And I do it by, you take one goose die. So it's very little. So it's going to be very difficult, right? So it's going to be difficult to kind of know about the head. You're going to miss it. You're going to, so I developed another technique. It's also very efficient. It's very comfortable now. And bang, it's gone. Well, this one got away on it. Well, that's basically the technique. Once it, you know, they hit them on whatever you hit them on, they're gone. So that's it for the garlic. And I think you get, by now, you get the idea, right? I mean, you got the idea? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yes. So the idea is to be very nice to vegetables. So next time you do a ratatouille, you do that. After that, you can cut them, dice them, boil them. It doesn't, ils s'en foutent pas mal, as they say, because they're dead. So that's the idea. And you can see this, again, on YouTube. I show you how to do this, so you can follow the steps again. And you can make a delicious ratatouille after. A very, very humanely done ratatouille. C'est comme ça. J'espère que ça a été utile. Merci. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I have one question. If you were a vegetable, would you ever notice that if you're going in a sock, would it be kind of awkward for you?
Well, that's a very good question. I suppose most vegetables are not used to the sock. But on the other hand, it is so comfortable and it is so warm and welcoming that it probably, as far as I can imagine, I'm not a vegetable, so I'm not sure, but I think it would be nice. You know, if it would be nice to me. You got to treat your vegetable as you would treat yourself. That's the bottom line. Same thing with animals, like the salmon. You want to treat them nicely, and if you're going to be eaten, you don't want to know much about it, right? Makes sense, right, Salmon?
When did you first start learning about this technique?
Well, these techniques, that's a very good question. When did I first learn? Well, many years of schooling, and for many years, I too, I'm afraid I probably wasn't very, very nice to vegetables or even the animals that we ate. But I think a few years ago, I became much more concerned because of the pollution, and I saw everything that was going on. About 10 years ago, I started performing these techniques, these surgical techniques. And so now this is all my practice, is just to take care of vegetables, and I encourage everybody out there to be nice and to think about it, to be mindful of the environment and to be mindful of your friends, because we depend on them. Without them, we're history.
This a little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yes, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Hello, my name is Sarah, and this is my friend Sam.
Hello, Hi, Sarah.
Sam.
Hey, Sam.
I'm Saren.
Yeah.
My first question is, what are your names?
I'm AJ.
I'm Christine.
And my name is Mai.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, my second question is, what do you think about nature?
Love it. Really love it.
Love nature, can't live without it.
I wish I could spend more time in nature.
Yeah, same.
What do you think about salmon?
Love salmon. Love to eat salmon. Love eating. I love salmon.
I am very disappointed in you. You want to eat me. And you?
I love how salmon travel. I love how they return home to spawn.
I think they play a really important part of nature. I like to eat them too, sorry.
It's cool that they're in freshwater and saltwater. Like they're flexible and diverse that way. I love that about you.
My next question is, if you were a salmon, what type would you be?
Wild.
Definitely wild.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, me too.
Wild salmon.
Yeah. Wild sockeye salmon.
Not farmed.
What stage would you choose?
Spawning?
I think I would choose the stage right after you hatch from the egg because it's a new life.
Elfin.
And
you?
Oh, okay.
I would choose the stage, whatever it is where they go upstream.
Young adult. Okay.
Oh, nice.
And thank you for letting me interview you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're with, what's your name, sir?
My name's Ben.
Okay. So I'd like to interview you just about your perspective, firstly, as a human, and then you do some work with environmental groups, and I'm in the water, so I don't get the internet or anything like that. The computers don't work underwater very well, and
True, yeah.
so we wanted to talk to you about that. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So maybe just to introduce to my fishy friends who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name's Ben West. I'm a campaigner, campaign director at Forest Ethics Advocacy. So basically I do work on climate change related issues, environmental issues. And I'm a human from here in Vancouver originally. Grew up in this area, Coast Salish territories.
So what? So these forests are not very ethical. Is that why unethical forest, or how? Why forest ethics, and what? Explain the name.
That's a good question. Well, Forest Ethics is an organization that was founded during the standoff in Clayoquot Sound, and the idea is basically looking at the values that are inherent in nature and trying to make businesses and people respect those sort of laws of nature.
So, and your name's Ben West. So, were you named first and then born, or how does that work?
That's a highly philosophical question. And I got to say, talking to you, I'm starting to wonder what's in this water.
Well,
but,
you know, it came from over there.
Right. It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I think my family at some point was from the western part of somewhere in Europe, probably in Eastern Europe, but the western part of it. So that's where my name comes from, I think. Well, I'm telling you it works, just so you know. Okay. So, yeah. Thank you. Now, climate change. You know, the water's heating up. My fishy friends there. There's a lot of things happening in the atmosphere that are affecting the water, and I get a lot of complaints from my cousins. My cousin Will, my other cousin Will, and then my other cousin, his name's Will, and then my cousin Wilhelmina from different watersheds. So tell me about this climate change thing and how it affects me. Geez, yeah. Sorry about that. Your name's Will, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I guess humans are basically treating the atmosphere like it's a landfill in the sky. You know, we have this idea like we can just keep burning as much stuff as we want, and somehow that's going to be okay. And what we've learned, and actually we've known for a really long time, is that we're just we're heating up the planet by trapping more and more of this kind of pollution in the atmosphere. And the end result of that is, you know, ice caps are melting. You know, some people call it global weirding, you know, because the end result is not only that we make some parts of the planet hotter, but it also makes, you know, the weather more extreme. You know, we've seen what some people are calling a polar vortex all over North America as of late. And basically it's just messing up the sort of natural balance of our ecosystems, throwing things out of whack, and the end result is problems for everybody on the planet, humans and fish. But you know, I guess as a human, I feel like I should say sorry. I don't think you guys are doing much to cause this, but you know, we're definitely making a mess of the place.
Well, you know, it's kind of why we're here, and it's a difficult question to answer. And thank you for coming on the show here. And it's, you know, it's difficult for me to be actually out of the water, so
right,
you know, we did make a sacrifice for not being out there. But you talk about alternatives, or I'd heard about alternatives. So what does that mean in terms of, you know, because as a fish, the whole like human industrial thing is, we got a problem with it. But I guess explain to me. As a fish, why alternatives are even better than what exists now, because we got what we got.
Right. Well, I mean, basically, you know, some of the wealthiest people on the planet who run the fossil fuel companies, you know, like coal, oil, gas, they've convinced us all that there really is no alternative to those kinds of fossil fuel-based energy. And the truth is that there's actually a lot of other ways to get energy. You know, there's about 3 times as much energy from the sun that hits the planet in an hour than we consume in a year. So, you know, it's really not a matter of a lack of alternatives. Really what it is political choices and the power of some of the richest, most powerful people on the planet, you know, basically convincing us all that we need to keep doing things the way that we're doing it. You know, so what I'm really interested in is, like, how can we, you know, live on this planet in a way that, you know, we can be proud of, you know, in a way that we can really be respectful of each other and of every species that's on the planet. You know, so, you know, there's a lot of alternatives. You know, some of the easiest things are like how we get around, how we live, transportation and housing. You know, tremendous amount of energy is used up in, you know, in how we build our homes, how we heat those homes, and how we get from place to place. You know, just as one example, you know, if we in Canada adopted the fuel standards that they're using in Europe, we could cut our oil consumption in half almost right away, just by mandating that companies built automobiles differently. You know, if we were smart about it, we could be building a lot more rail and public transit that could get people around affordably and easily. You know, and most people want options to not have to be dependent on cars. You know, because cars are expensive, and as our cities get more and more crowded, it's not really fun to be in your car.
Why don't you just swim to work? Like, I mean, we got, it's free, you don't have to, there's no tolls, and like, you know, it works for us. It's just, I know in the Rideau Canal there in Ottawa, they like skate, so it's, I mean, it's frozen, but like, would it not be? I think it's an acceptable alternative to swim.
That seems like a worthwhile idea. I'd be willing to give it a try, but I don't know, I might be late for work.
Okay, well, we'll hold you on, and maybe next week you can come down in a little dry suit, and then we can go.
I got a feeling you're better at it than me, but.
Well, you know, it's all about choices and then moving a little forward, so don't be scared anyways.
True.
But, well, thanks for coming on the show. You're welcome to come back anytime, and we'll see you out there in your in the forest, and the salmon. You might run into a cousin of mine, so please don't eat too many of them.
All right, yeah, I'll tell him you say hello.
All right, take care. Thank you, man.
Okay, thank you.
All right, yeah, take care. I'm Wildy Salmon. Back to you.
Flu season. Have you had your flu shot?
Well,
your ISA shot?
You're promoting vaccination. Nice.
No.
The kids can ask me weird questions too.
So if you talk about the consciousness of a fish, we're off. You know, it's the sentience of living creatures is a continuum. And it's a circular kind of thing, you know, and we're all going to be back where we came from. Okay.
If you're in Australia, would you swim the opposite direction?
Jip, 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 jip. Jip, 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 jip. All right, with Brian here, a sport fisher. I got a real problem with this. So explain to me what that is about.
Well, Will, you know, a long time ago, we used to harvest you guys, you know, using nets and stuff like that, but it got a little bit boring, you know, so we decided to add a little bit of a sporting element in there, and it'd be a lot more rewarding and challenging if we could actually trick you into biting something that you would normally feed on. And that's, so we call it sport fishing.
And I'm not really happy about this.
It's a lot of fun. And it's been passed on from generation to generation, and it's evolved into like a very technical sport nowadays with, you know, $2,000 fishing rods, high-tech equipment, lures that are made in you know, like Japan, and super custom-made lures and custom baits and everything. So it's turned into this really like intense economy, challenge, fun adventure.
Can't you just play cards or something? Something else, you know, like poker or golf or...
Well...
What is it about sport, fishing?
Well, cards is kind of boring, you know, and the great part about sport fishing is that we get to be outdoors and connected with nature and the whole experience with the rivers, the trees, the fish, the eagles, the fresh air. That's what we need to be content and happy and inner peace, right? It gives us a lot of joy for us humans to catch you.
You know, this whole sport thing, maybe we got to turn the tables a bit.
Well, what do you propose?
Well, you know, like, is there sport humaning out there? I could go for that. What would you guys like? What kind of bait could I use for you guys? Well, you know.
That's a very interesting element that you bring up. I mean, I'm sure that sharks go fishing for humans because, you know, you hear it in the news, sharks eat humans, right? And maybe it's for fun.
I don't read the news.
But, well, I hear that you can't read anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, this concept you have sounds really interesting. So what I'm prepared to do with you, I will take the skills that we use for sport fishing for salmon and transfer it over to, we can try fishing for humans. Would that help, you know, give us a better relationship?
You know, I think I could go for this.
Yeah.
The one thing is, I've never fished before in my life. And I have no idea what you humans would eat and how I could, you know, I don't know what you eat. Like, what do I entice you with?
Well, humans are, sadly, a lot of humans aren't that picky about what they eat. So, fortunately, we do have some excellent bait for humans. I heard that Ricky's restaurant makes some really wonderful burgers and pulled pork sandwiches, and I'm sure that people would just love to gobble those up. And I think we can. I can supply some special, like big game fishing gear, and we'll have some pulled pork sandwiches, and you know, we can hit Gramble Street. And,
sounds great.
See if we can find any suckers.
All right, that's a deal.
Okay.
All right. I'm Wildy Salmon with Brian, not Louise.
Brian.
Peace out.
Hi, my name is Gookum Tansy. Welcome to Gookum's Kitchen, where I'm world famous for baking my bitumen cookies. Here's what they look like. I'll tell you a little bit more about how to make them later. But first, I'm going to tell you some stories, because the children here, I think it's important they hear about salmon of the past, the present, and the future. You want to hear that, small fry?
Yes, Gookum.
Okay. Well, you know, many raccoons ago, fish friends and not fishy friends, well, they didn't choose leaders just for the halibut. You know, they weren't floundering about. And you young guys, or you went to school like boys, just like you do, hey? Yeah. And the water wasn't poisoned. Did you know the water's poisoned now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of sad, eh? And the water, the air, and the earth are all poison. And back then, we all kept it clean like my teepee. You've been to my teepee, right, small fry? Yeah, it's a pretty nice place. We prayed for your existence and for all our fish friends' existence, and because we didn't want you to be green around the gills. You know, that wouldn't be very good. And you didn't clam up about your rights. So, you know, I'll give you a little scratch behind your gills here, because I want to make sure you're doing okay. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's nice, all of you. Things were good. There were no farm fish back then, eh? Yeah. And, well, then the cod pieces brought their poison. That was terrible. Yeah. So today, well, things are different. And there's yuppies and guppies. You know what yuppies and guppies are?
No.
Okay. Well, some of them are kind of like, they got a lot of money and lifestyle, and they don't want to change things. They get kind of lazy and comfortable and stuff. And then the small fry, they start to like their Xboxes too much, and they don't pay attention. And so it becomes like gangplankton warfare out there, kind of like when the colonists gave us smallpox and blankets, you know. So there's this guy who's supposed to lead the country, and his name is Prime Minister Harpoon. Have you heard of him, Small Fries?
Yes, Cookum.
Yeah. And then there's a woman named Premier Crustacean Clark. Do you know her?
No, Cookum.
Oh, well, she's supposed to be leading the province, but she likes things like fish farms and stuff. So anyways, they don't give a beaver damn about anything. And Prime Minister Harpoon, he's just kind of a son of a beach, you know, if you ever go to the beach, stuff. And Crustacean, well, she just runs around like a fish with her head cut off. So, and those two, well, they're as slippery as eels. And, well, we got to convince the spawners to vote. And then we're off the hook. It's as easy as that. And it's time now for some shameless self-promotion. I just want to show you, again, my bitumen cookies. You take some bitumen, and you just make it like a patty in your hands. And then someone bought the Sun. So yeah, now it's called the Suncore, and you put these in the sun, and you plug in a loonie, and you get 5 minutes for a loonie of sun, and then the bitumen bakes up, and oh, they're delicious. Does anyone want to try one?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Don't eat it, man.
It's, oh, it might be too hard for your teeth, you know? Maybe that's how I lost mine, I'm not sure, but anyways, you know what? We got to learn to vote the sharks out of office. That's what today is all about, because they got fish farms, but the ocean is really one big ranch with no fences and stuff. Oh, I like that. That's good. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what color fish you are. Never mind if you think this election is just for cods and frauds. You got to vote the sharks out. Well, as for the future of salmon, well, have you ever heard of a thing called NASA?
Yes, Cookum.
Okay, what do you think that is?
It's a place where they send rocket ships to outer space.
Yeah, the space program, right? And they send them to the moon and the Mars, and they're looking for different kinds of fish everywhere. That's what I think. And they've known a long time how bad Mother Earth has gotten, and they're looking for water. When, you know, all the money they spend, that NASA spends, it could be spent to fix the world. So I'm not sure why they're doing that. We don't really need astronauts or juggernauts. We might need the Toronto Argonauts. We also need the will-nots. That's the people who say, we will not take it in the salmon bellies, you know? So no more patriarchy, okay? Because you just let them at me. I'm going to stop everything. But I need you to protect me and help me, okay? And salmon of the future, they're going to have big muscles. You want to see how big my muscle is? Just like that, eh? Yeah, so can you show your muscles? they're going to even be bigger when you grow up. Right, small fries? Yeah. Yeah, because you won't take no for an answer. You're going to work hard, okay, changing for things. And that reminds me of a song that I'm going to sing. It says, when you fish upon a star, something all the difference you are. I don't really remember all the words, but I'm a pretty good singer, eh? But that just tells you that, you know, you got to believe in your dreams, okay? And then you got to work for your dreams. And so I want all of you, my grand fish, to keep blowing bubbles, okay? And work for your dreams. Be good. Be good sometimes means being happy, but sometimes you got to get angry. Oh, here's Rohan brought one of our friends up. That's nice. Yeah. So together we'll make things better and safer for you and for your children. And we'll keep the ocean clean because that's where our food comes from. And you want to keep the ocean clean because, after all, you wouldn't pee in your refrigerator, would you?
No, cook 'em.
No. Oh. Well, you're sort of a fish of different color. Thanks. So maybe all of you, one day we won't have this bitumen to make anymore into cookies.
Okay, so I have a few questions for you.
Yeah?
The first question is, if you were a fish, what kind of fish would you be?
I think I'd be a carp.
If you could choose one of the salmon's life stages, which one would you choose?
Oh, I like it when they jump up the fish ladder because I'm kind of athletic myself, you know. I'm in pretty good shape. I'm fast and I can go high. So I'd like to be at that stage.
And if you were ever like a salmon swimming in the polluted water, what do you think you would feel like?
Super yucky. How you doing there? Oh, long live wild salmon. I like that. I love you all. Will you all give me a hug? Give Cookum a hug. Aw, my small fries. So good to see you. Well, that's Cookum's kitchen for today, eh? We'll see ya. Do your special salmon goodbye.
Cheat on my jellyfish.
You're dating jellyfish?
I am.
There's so many of them. They're not all the same.
I know many have broken up with me. It stung a bit.
God. As long as you're not spawning with other chums. I would be skating normally.
Where are we here with this? That's too fast.
Wild salmon. Ask the wildlife what they all choose. Wild salmon, children's news. The salmon circle from the sea to the sea, up the rivers of life. Endlessly, they always return to the place they began. For 1,000,000 years, they swam and swam and swam. From the rocks in the pool, in the river below, salmon turning and turning, oh so slow. They have been there forever in their favorite dance. Round and round they go. It's a wild romance. The salmon circle from the sea to the sea, up the rivers of life. Endlessly, they always return to the place they began. For 1,000,000 years, they swam and swam and swam. To the long, slow rhythm of a 4-year cycle, to the pounding beat of oceans that are like us. Drums that sound clear across the foam, they are calling their children, calling their children home. The salmon circle from the sea to the sea, up the rivers of life. Endlessly, they always return to the place they began. For 1,000,000 years, they swam and swam and swam. Redbacks moving in the stream, humpbacks dancing in a dream. Nose to tail, they circle round and round. Go back to the spawning ground. By the great flowing waters, they return to the source, lay down their eggs, feel the life force. Resting safe in the gravel, pass the winter through, while these great fish are dying in the spring life renews. The salmon circle from the sea to the sea, up the rivers of life. Endlessly, they always return to the place they began. For 1,000,000 years, they swam and swam and swam. They swam